أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وإمامنا وقائدنا وقدوتنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم ربنا زدنا علما نافعا وعملا صالحا ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. This topic, Sihr of Arrogance, it's a topic that is not many people speak about it, but it is something that impacts and affects every family who has sihr. Every family who has sihr. That is because either a specific sihr is done of sihr of arrogance, or the sihr which has been done on the family, that sihr looks at the negative emotions within the family, and it will play the sihr and the shaitan especially. The sihr and the shaitan will play a lot on the negative personality of the individual within the family, or of the individuals within the family. So, for example, if someone is very emotional, the sihr, even if the sihr is not done on the on in particular emotion, because the person is very emotional, the overall sihr, or the general sihr that's on the family, that will play a lot on that individual's emotions. Suppose the person is when it comes to the person, say her or his character is very stubborn, the overall sihr, even though there's no sihr particular on the stubbornness of the individual, the overall sihr on the family will play a part in working with that individual's, his or hers negative character, which is stubbornness. Yeah. Suppose another example can be given. Suppose someone cannot generally, they're indecisive, they cannot think straight, or they always have to listen to people and then make the decision. They cannot decide for themselves. They're not smart enough, they're not wise enough, or that they're not long-term enough. They can't think long-term, they can't think strategically or tactically, right? So the sihr that is on them will play a part on not making a decisive decision. They will not be assertive enough to make the decision. It will be always based on so and so said, or he said, or she said, or they said. It will not be because it's good for them or it's in the best interest for them, and they can decide in an assertive, in a decisive manner. Okay, so this is the general sihr. It plays with the negative emotions or negative thought processes, or negative desires and whims within the individual to work for the sihr that was done on the individual or on the family. So if, for example, sihr of tafriq was done on the family, the sihr of separation, then, for example, the one who's stubborn, he or she will be stubborn not to seek forgiveness, not to apologize, right? And he or she will be stubborn in the ways. So it separates the family. Suppose someone is indecisive, he or she will always be indecisive whether to unite with the family, whether to break the barriers and build the bridges, he or she will be constantly and always not decisive, indecisive regarding how to unite the family, what best approach to take, and so forth and so on. So it plays on the negative emotions and then amplifies it, and then it works with the main target of the sihr that was done on the individual or on the family. Sihr of arrogance, in particular, it's done, when it's done, obviously it will work mainly on the person who has arrogance, number one. And this is with any sihr. If, as we said before, if any sihr is done, then the negative emotion, the sihr will work on the negative emotion. So usually the arrogance, if someone has the arrogance, the negative sihr, if sihr of separation is done, then the arrogance will work against separate. It will work with the sihr of separation, and it will try to with arrogance. He or she will try to separate the family, and the sihr will amplify. Sihr of separation will amplify it. Now, if sihr of arrogance was done, then it is usually done on the people, irrespective of whether they have arrogance or not. It's usually done on the people who are head of the families. So one more time. If sihr of arrogance is done and pride is done, and then it's done on the people who is head of the family, or in other words, who has the authority within the family. So it's done on, for example, the father. It's done on the eldest brother. It's done on, it can even be done on the mother, especially if she has a lot of say in the family. It can be done on the eldest uncle, right? And so on. So basically, whoever has authority in the family, or whoever is the head of the family, it's usually done on them in particular, so that the ego works in order for the sihr, in order to whatever the enemy has decided for you and your family, then the ego works, his arrogance and ego works with that to actually give the enemy what he or she wants. So for example, the enemy did sihr on the father or the eldest brother, for example, right? In order for the father to be always submissive, right, to the mother, or the elder brother always to be submissive to the mother. Whatever the mother wants, right? The husband, the father, and the son is submissive. Or whatever the enemy has done, so it could be the stepmom, or it could be khala, so the mom's side, or it could be the fufu. Khala is the mom's sister, fufu is the dad's sister, for example, or dad's brother, the uncle. Whatever the uncle wants or the fufu wants, which is dad's sister, the dad obeys. Dad obeys, right? Whatever they want. Yeah. So here, if now the children don't obey the father, they say, no, you're deciding on behalf of your brother, or you're deciding on behalf of your, in the best interest of your sister, right? Or you're deciding in the interest of your wife, but who is our stepmom, who is not our mother. You're deciding on the best interest of the stepmom. Or the brother, we say you're deciding in the best interest of you, not in the best interest of me. Then he says, you're disobeying my authority. You're disobeying my my position in the family. I'm the father, or I'm the eldest brother. Yeah, or I'm the mother. If the mother has authority, she'll be like, I'm the mother. You have to obey me. Whatever I say, you have to obey me. I'm the mother. Yeah. So they will use the sihr of arrogance in the interest of the enemy who's done the sihr, and they will use it against the actual people whom they are meant to take care of, which are the siblings or which are the children, and they will work for the enemy. So that's when you know that a particular sihr of arrogance has been done, especially if they keep repeating, I'm the imam of the house, I'm the leader of the house, I'm the man of the house, I'm the boss of the house, I'm the main person of the house. Why aren't you obeying me? Why aren't you listening to me? If they keep saying this and repeating this without actually fulfilling their duties and responsibilities towards the children or towards the siblings, that's when you know that the enemy has done sihr of arrogance on them. So they fulfill with their position, they use and abuse the power of position to fulfill the enemy's interests, and with their arrogance and pride, the sihr that was done on them with arrogance and pride, they abuse that power, and they keep repeating and saying, my position, I'm the father, my position is I'm the eldest brother, my position is, you know, I'm your uncle, or I'm your mother, right? All of these, there's position they keep repeating in order for you to give in to the decisions they have made, which are in the interest of your own enemies and also their enemies, obviously, but they are not realizing it. So once that is done, that means that sihr of arrogance has been done on them, and that sihr of arrogance blinds them from realizing that they are going against their own interests, they are going against the interests of the children, they are going against the interests of the siblings, right? And they are working for the enemy who has done the sihr on them in order to divide the family, disunite the family, or in order to give in to the demands of the enemy who has done the sihr magic. Okay. So where is the evidence of sihr arrogance? If one was to ask, simply, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about Iblis, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says he refused stubbornness, aba wastakbara, and he was proud of it, and he was arrogant of it. He was arrogant about it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here gives two descriptions of Iblis himself, by saying aba, which is stubbornness, he refused, rejected the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he was proud about it, boastful about it, even though he was not worthy of being, you know, he is not worthy of what he's demanding and what he's asking, let alone to boast about, and so forth and so on. Yeah. So this is Iblis' nature. That's why anyone who gets angry is Iblis' nature. So any evil, just remember this principle, any evil that can be done, sihr can be done with that evilness. Start one more time. Any evil that can be done is within Iblis, or it can be done in the society, then sihr can be done for that evil. Sihr can be done for that evil. That's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down through the angels sihr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he did not specify what the sihr can do. He simply said that the shayateen are learning from the angels sihr. The shayateen are learning from the sihr. The shayateen are learning from the angels sihr, two angels, Harut and Marut. What are they learning? One of them is to separate from the loved ones. That's one of the sihr, not all the sihr. So what are they learning? They're learning what the shayateen wants. So whatever the shayateen evilness, harm the shayateen wants, sihr can be done for it. Also, we have a specific evidence for that, is the famous dua the Prophet is to recite when he is to start salah, and also outside salah. A'udhu billahi samil alim. He says, I take refuge and protection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against the cursed shaitan, who is distant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala due to his pride and arrogance. And then Allah is to say, A'udhu billahi samil alim min ash-shaytan rajim. So I seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all hearing, all seeing, against the devil. So whatever he is, whoever he is, whatever he does, Allah knows, and Allah hears, and Allah sees, right? And then someone says, min nafkhihi, min nafkhihi, from his pride, from his arrogance, from his stubbornness. Nafkhihi, as the ulama have explained, is the pride, is the arrogance. So we are seeking refuge and protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against the devil's pride. Why are we seeking refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against the devil's pride? It's got nothing to do with me. It's the devil's pride. It's got nothing to do with me. Why are we seeking refuge from the devil's pride? Is because it can do something. It can put that pride inside us. One of the ways he puts that pride inside us is through whispers. Yeah, it's through him coming in with his desires and whims inside our nafs. If you have a pride, he magnifies it. Another way, obviously, if you can do all of that, then obviously you can do magic in order for us to, or for those people who have pride and who have arrogance, for it to be increased and for it to be settled in the nafs, and then for it to be manifested against people, whoever they may be, showing arrogance and pride and stubbornness towards those people for their self-interest. So that's the second evidence, which is explicit evidence. And the third evidence is the reality. Reality, your own father, your own brother, your own mother works for the enemy. Simply by saying, I'm your father, you should obey me. I'm your brother, you should obey me. I'm your mother, you should obey me. But works for the enemy, who is going and working against your own, against themselves, the father, the brother, the mother, right? And works for them and going against their own children or own siblings, and it works for them. It's irrational, it's illogical. How can, just for the sake of obedience, and in that obedience is the work of your enemy's interest. You give in to the enemy's interest. The enemy wants you disunited. By obeying the enemy, you give him or her the authority, and you disunite your own family. The enemy wants your lands or the money. By giving your lands or the money to the enemy, you're disuniting your family. You're taking the rights of the family. Your enemy that doesn't want, for example, you all to do ruqyah, and you're saying what the enemy is saying. Now we don't need ruqyah, we're all fine. It's irrational, it's illogical. How can you work in the interests of others and you forget the interests of your own children or your own sibling? So this reality has to, now the doctors or the experts have to give a name to this. How can this father, or how can this brother, or how can this mother work against the interests of her own children or interests of his own siblings? Especially he's got a position. He can kick out the enemy, kick out the people who are harming his own family, right? And work to unite the family. If he just wants, he can work with the family and unite the family. Why doesn't he do it? So the experts now have to find the illness to define and identify. And all the experts have found that when they go to the bottom of it, he's got a sihr on him. He's got black magic on him or her, the mother. Why? Because he or she, they have the positional authority in the family. And in that positional authority, the sihr was done to use that positional authority against the interests of their own family and their own siblings. Okay. And as we know, hundreds of cases we've seen the father work against his own children. We've seen the mother work against their own children. We've seen the eldest brother work against his own siblings and working for the enemy. Working for the enemy is the ones who have done the sihr, the ones who have done the sihr. We've seen hundreds of cases like that. So we then conclude that there's sihr, general sihr on the family, but there's a particular sihr on this individual. And then when we find that the head leader is on that individual. The head leader of the jinns, the devils, is on that individual. So if it's the father, it's on the father. If it's the mother, it's on the mother. If it's the brother, it's on the brother. The head devil, right, is on that individual. And the head devil, what does it want? He wants everyone to obey him in order to fulfill the interests of the the people who've sent the head devil. So it's on him, and he obviously he's got arrogance and pride, and he uses to do sihr. But the sihr was done of arrogance on the head individual, the father, the mother, or the brother, and he keeps repeating and keeps giving that waswas inside the heart and the mind of that head person. You're the mother, you're the father, you're the brother. They all should obey you. They all should obey you. This is the prime objective, is that all he sees, the father or the mother or the brother, is I'm so and so, I've got the position, they all need to obey me. Once they obey me, then everything will be fine. But obviously this miskin doesn't realize, once they obey him or her, he or she is giving in the interest of the enemy who's doing the same. Okay, so eventually, how do you how does the expert Raqi cure this illness? It's general ruqya, again, simple, ghusl, oils, and particular uh, the general ruqya, hijama, general. But once you know the head of the family is acting like this, is acting against the interest of his own family, is acting against his siblings, then what do? Is you recite the verses specifically to the arrogance, pride, ignorance, jahiliyyah, ignorance, um, uh, lack of care, lack of empathy, dhulm. Yeah. So these are the verses and ahadith and dua and adhkar you recite, and you blow into the water, the oils, the shampoos, the shower gels, everything that individual utilizes on the body, the honey, the black seeds, the black seed oil, and so forth, in order to break that particular sihr. Or if there's no sihr, in order to uh, uh, remove that sin or that negative energy which is inside him or her, which is blinding the interests of his own family or his own siblings. Okay, so I said that again, the way to cure is general ruqya, and in particular to recite the verses of arrogance and pride. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about pride, like the verses that I just quoted in Surah Baqarah, Aba wastakbara. And you'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about shayateen, talks about the arrogance and the pride they have, and verses of ignorance, jahiliyyah, because these people are ignorant in terms of in the mind. They can't realize that they are working against themselves and against their own children or against their own siblings. Yeah. So you saw the verses of ignorance and any other du'as and adhkar that talk about inability. Allahumma inni a'udhu min al-ajzi wal-kasal wal-bukhli wal-jinn wa-ghalabat qahri rijal, and the men overtaking me, overpowering me. So here the men overpowering me is the sihr, also the shayateen, the male dominant shayateen have overtaken him or her, right? So you recite those du'as, you blow into the water, you blow into the oils, all the items that people use for ruqyah, blow into them, intending to burn away general sihr, then the specific sihr, which is the arrogance. And if you feel there's no arrogance, there's no sihr of arrogance in the individual, then you simply intend that his arrogance or her arrogance to be burnt away through this ruqyah, and the sin of that arrogance he or she has, or the pride he or she has, or the stubbornness he or she has, that negative, selfish, self-interest based, which is which goes against the family, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove that from his or her self. Yeah, you make that dua and you make that recitation, and you blow into all of these items. You keep reciting every day when you wake up. You keep reciting these verses. You keep reciting these du'as. You keep reciting the adhkar, and you blow on all the items. Okay. Whenever you go and visit him, or you want to talk to him or her about ruqyah or about you know, because at the end he could be your father, at the end he could be your mother, at the end he could be your brother. You want him to get cured, you want them to get cured. So what you want at the end is for them to be cured from this arrogance, pride, and stubbornness. So what do? Before you go and speak to them about ruqya, right? Buy them gifts, be subtle, be nice to them, right? Um, Before you go, recite these verses, blow into your hands, wipe your body. When you go next to him or her, recite these verses, or whatever. If you do not know those verses, whatever verses you know of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and du'as, but make that intention. Wallah, burn away the arrogance he has. Allah, burn away the stubbornness he has. Allah, burn away the pride he has, which are working against our interests. Keep reciting, keep making that dua. Wallah, burn away the arrogance she has. Wallah, burn away the pride she has. Wallah, burn away the stubbornness she has. And keep reciting like Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, the Quds with that intention, and then blow on him. Right? You're sitting in front of him, is eating, is drinking, just blow on him like that, or slowly like that, or just make the dua. Just make whenever you're around him. Don't talk about the actual ruqya issue. Just go buy him or her gifts, and just talk to him normally by your reciting. The more you go and visit him or her, and the more you talk to him or her generally while you're reciting and making those du'as, slowly, these arrogance, pride, and stubbornness will be breaking because you're reciting at his presence or at their presence. Okay? And obviously, you're reciting on all the items that they use for consuming or showering. So, shower gels, water for the ghusl, the salt, sea salt, honey, black seeds, black seed oil. So, they're consuming also your recitation and your du'as, which you've already done. Okay, that's the first step. The second step, if that doesn't work, they're very stubborn, they're very arrogant, they're very aggressive, they're very violent, they shut you down, they don't even let you speak one word. Then what do you do? Then you have to take the practical steps of involving your uncles or your aunties amongst your relatives who he has to respect and he or she has to listen. Yeah. In every family, you have some people who they listen to, right? So you don't talk to them on the phone. Don't make that mistake. You go to them face to face. You go to them face to face and you talk to them. And make sure they are not influenced by anyone else there because someone else can influence them. You talk to them. Whoever of you are suffering, you all go to that individual. It could be your uncle. Men are always best. Men, women will obey. Men, others men will obey. So you go to those people and you sit them and you talk to them and say, look, this is what's happening in our family. This is how we are suffering. And our father is not doing anything about it. Our mother is not doing anything about it. Our brother is not doing anything about it. He or they are disuniting their family more and more, and they are working for the enemies. Yeah, explain to them. And then for witnessing with their own eyes, ask them to come one day randomly and you will bring up the subject front of them of ruqya, or you will talk to them generally and you'll see how they react. Because as soon as you start talking about the sensitive issues by which the arrogance comes in, because they might see them normally as normal people. They've never seen that side. When they start becoming very aggressive, they start shouting at you. They haven't seen that side. It could be your uncle. He's never seen, for example, your elder brother, completely losing his head. Yeah, losing his mind and shouting and screaming. So bring the uncle. The more people you can bring to expose your father or your mother or your brother, right, the better. Then they will decide what to do. Okay, you know what, your brother is not working for your interests, or you know what, your father is not working for your interests, or you know what, your mother is not fulfilling her responsibility as a mother to cure you or to do the ruqyah or to help you and assist you. Rather, she's working for the enemies. Yeah. So they will decide. Then they will decide what to do, either to force the ruqyah on themselves, or to say, you know what, leave the house, you go and live your lives, you know, we will marry you off if they are not doing the ruqya. We will marry you off if they are blocking the marriage. We will get you married, and we will make sure that you get married to somebody who can do the ruqya, family who understands, and we will make sure that there's no communication between your parents and you and your parents. We'll make sure that until they do the ruqya, they do the treatment, you're not coming back to them, yeah, because they're not fulfilling your interests. So the uncles, the men of the house, men of the family, then they can decide, they can be the father figure. They can take the role of the father, or they can take the role of the mother, or they can take the role of the eldest brother. Yeah. If that doesn't even work, so you've gone to the relatives, you've gone to the uncles, they said, no, we can't do anything. I'm sorry, we can't talk to your brother, we can't talk to your father, we can't talk to your mother. We've tried, they don't listen to us. Then what do you do? Then the third step is you go to the leaders of the community, the scholars and the leaders of the community. You tell them your story. This is our story. Our father is not helping us. Our mother is not helping us. Our eldest brother is not helping us. And we are dying. We are suffering. Our whole family is breaking apart. They are not doing the ruqyah. They're not taking us to doctors. They're not taking us to raqis. You know, we are dying. We are suffering. They're not doing the ruqyah. They're not helping us to do the ruqyah, nothing. You go to the scholars, you go to the leaders, they will then contact your uncles, whoever is next of your kin, will have the say. Then they will have a meeting. Then they'll say, look, can you go and sort this out with us front of us? So then the seniors and the mashayikh will go to the house, right? Obviously, you have to pressure them. They will go to your house with your uncles, and then if it still doesn't work, then the Islamic ruling can be given by the mashayikh, the leaders. Then they can give the ruling that, you know what, these parents or this brother or this father or the mother is lost, right? They're completely lost. They're not going to do the ruqyah. Then they can give the fatwa, which is you can leave the house, right? You can cut them out from your life because they are toxic and they're working for the enemy. You can cut them up. You can move out. They will marry you off. They will become the wali, the sheikh, especially if it's mashayikh, not one couple who make that decision for you on your behalf. Then they say, do this, do that. If you want to fight to get back your lands, for example, your stepmom has taken, they can say, okay, no, fight back, get back your lands. This is your father's lands, for example. They can give that fatwa, even if that is your stepmom, meaning your dad's wife. Doesn't matter. It's your rights for you to get back your lands, get back your property. Fight that in court in this country, back home, or fight it this way or that way. They can slowly advise you, because it becomes obligatory now on the ulama to stop the oppression. And every Muslim society, those who are truly understanding of Islam, they know as soon as oppression comes to them, they have to take the utmost means to repel the oppression and stop the oppression. So then they will take part, they'll become your wali, the guardian in marriage. They will advise you accordingly how to fight and get back your rights. And eventually they'll give you fatwas of when to cut ties or who to cut ties with, when to see them, when not to see them, how to keep the ties at the minimum level. For example, one phone call a month to your parents. For example, doing shopping for them, weekly shopping, not entering the house, just leaving at the door, or entering the house, just leaving at the kitchen. So they will give you these steps, because at the end, it's about burning away the sihr which is in your family. And then if that doesn't work, then you yourself getting well, getting better, getting stable, moving on with your life. And it's about you then repelling the oppression, repelling the toxic energy that's coming from your parents or the people who have position within your family, and not harming yourself or harming your spouse and harming your own children. Okay, so it's about mitigating as much as possible the risks on the families and the risk on the society at large. So these are the 3 steps that can be taken against sihr of arrogance. Let me summarize them again. Number 1, the general ruqya, right, that everyone ought to do, and then you specify the verses that speak about arrogance, pride, stubbornness, ignorance, those verses, those du'as, those adhkar, the du'as that talk about inability to take responsibilities and duties. You recite them, you blow into, obviously the more you recite, the more better. Every day if you can recite 100 times these verses, then recite. If you don't know those verses, then recite anything that you know with the intention of burning away the arrogance, the pride, the stubbornness, the ignorance, the inabilities of those people who are in authority within your family. That's number 1. If they don't do ruqya, then get your uncles involved. Speak to your relatives, whoever they will listen to, get them involved, but step by step. Take it very, very slowly, step by step. Don't just rush into it. You've done, how long do you do that? I would say for 6 months. Every step it should take 6 months. So first step is talk to them about ruqya. You've done that 6 months, it doesn't work. Next step, talk to your uncles. 6 months, that doesn't work. The next 6 months, go to your mashayikh, local mashayikh, get them involved to talk to the uncles. Remember, you're getting the mashayikh involved to talk to the uncles and to pressure your father, your mother, your brother to do the ruqya treatment and to work for your interests, your family's interests. The uncles, they can't do it. The mashayikh, they've tried, they can't do it. Then the 4th step is then the mashayikh will now, Islamically, it becomes responsibility and duty on the mashayikh now to become the guardians of you, and then accordingly to give the fatwas, and accordingly give the advice, and take it from there, inshallah. So this is in summary sihr of arrogance, how it works, and how for you to cure it, and how you practically, if you can't cure it, to take the steps to mitigate the risks of sihr of arrogance. جزاكم الله خير، تقبل الله منا ومنكم صالح الأعمال وبارك الله فيكم. اللهم اشف جميع المسلمين، اللهم اشف جميع المسلمين، اللهم اشف جميع المسلمين من السحر والحسد والمس، اللهم اشف جميع المسلمين من سحر الكبر، من سحر الجاهلية، ومن السحر التفريق، ومن السحر العشق، ومن السحر الربط، ومن السحر تعطيل الرزق، ومن السحر تعطيل الزواج. اللهم اشف جميع المسلمين من الأمراض النفسية يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أرحم الراحمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Okay, if anyone has any questions, you can raise your hands and ask the question. But Sheikh, I'll ask a question if that's okay.
Yeah,
While everyone's thinking about the questions that they want to ask. Okay, so the question that I have, Sheikh, how common is this type of sihr? And can this sihr be interlinked with the other sihr? I.e., say for example, the sihr of separation. Can that type of characteristic be inside the other sihr?
It generally isn't, but it can be in the person, because if they have position in the family, they will have sihr of arrogance and pride. If they have positional authority, so that the father, that the mother, that the eldest brother, or that the eldest sister, right? But it's mainly those 3 people. Mainly is those 3: the father, the mother, and the eldest brother. Mainly sihr of arrogance is on these 3 people, usually. So because they generally, the eldest, they have position in the family, they will have arrogance. So if the sihr is not done, then the arrogance will play in with the general sihr. However, if they are completely blind, that's when you know the sihr has been done specifically. Where do you know the sihr has been done specifically? Is when they are completely blind to the interest of the family, and they only talk about, I'm the father, I'm the mother, I'm the brother, and they take offense as soon as you disobey them and you want to take your own options. They're very control freak. Yeah, that everything, every little A, B, C, D, E, F, G has to go through me. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. So basically, he cuts you off, or she cuts you off, simply because you want to take it in this way or that way. You want to find the solution this way or that way. He cuts you off. So his or her main belief system and process of thought system is everything has to be done my way. Everything has to be done my way. So he doesn't care about whether you're cured or not. He doesn't care about whether you are better or not. He doesn't care about the unity of the family or not. These are non-existence to him. To him, it's about my way. But my way, though, that's the first part, is my way. Second way is my way will not lead to the cure. So his way, everyone knows, it's not going to lead to the cure. It's not going to lead to the unity of the family. Yeah, it's not gonna, or it's gonna lead to the humiliation of the family or humiliation of other people in the family. It could be your own mother, or it could be your own father. So if it's the son, the eldest son, he says my way, my way, my way. It could be humiliation on your father, on your mother, or the other way around. The father says my way, my way, my way. It could be humiliation on your mother, or the mother says my way, my way, my way, and it could be humiliation on the father. You see, she completely humiliates the father in front of her own children. Yeah. So you can't do that. You want the cure, but you don't want the humiliation at the same time. Yeah. So when you know that they want their way, and they want also humiliation, complete humiliation, right? Complete authority, like the devil. He wants complete, full authority. Then that's what you know. Sihr of arrogance has been done, because that's devilish. The devil, what does he want? He wants the devil does what does the devil want? He wants complete control, my way, and then my way will lead to what? Devilish work. He will not get the cure. He will only humiliate you. He will not unite the family. He will only humiliate you.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh. Okay, so another question, Sheikh. Okay, can the sihr of arrogance or the characteristic of arrogance be via sihr, or can it be done, can be given from a qarin or any shayateen from one individual?
Now, it can be done by a qarin shaitan, but as I said, it's when there is no room on this issue. He or she constantly says, I'm the mother, or I'm the father, or I'm the brother. It's my way, the highway. Yeah. And he constantly humiliates everyone. Then it's not the qarin anymore. That's it. That then is him, and there's something extra that's come on him on that particular negative issue. Something has taken over completely. It's not just him and the qarin. It's him, the qarin, a devil, or a leader of the devil, and the sihr. And the sihr.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh. Okay, I've got another question, Sheikh. I'll wait for everyone to post their questions. Another question that I have, Sheikh, is so if someone it knows that they're a victim of this type of sihr or this type of characteristic where the arrogance exists in the family, and the individuals who see that with their eyes, they do not take any actions and they do not do anything about it, whether it means getting people involved or going through a process where they're trying to heal themselves and heal their family members, whoever's affected with this type of effect. Are these people to also be blamed for not taking the action to forbid the evil?
Yeah, of course. Because when you are not fulfilling the fundamental duties and responsibilities towards your own family, you as a father, or you as a mother, or you as eldest brother are meant to do, and the rest of the siblings, their lives are being destroyed. They're not getting married, or they're married, they were married but they got the divorce. Then anyone who has some sanity in the family and some knowledge and information and understanding, they have to forbid the evil, they have to forbid the munkar. Anyone who hears this and they have some sort of say in front of these individuals, they have to utter it. They have to say, you're oppressing your own mother, or you're oppressing your own father, or you're oppressing your own children. They have to say it, and they have to make it very clear. This is how you're oppressing, because of your positional authority, you are not uniting the family. Because of your positional authority, you are not curing your family. Because of your positional authority, you are disuniting your family rather than helping and uniting and assisting them and curing them. Yeah. So anyone who comes to that information, Islam obliges you to talk sense to these people and call them out. Tell them you are oppressing your own children, you are oppressing your own siblings. And if you have the authority to take it more, especially as believers who are responsible for the society, then we have to, Allah obliges us to take more responsibilities by actually taking this family out from that house and giving them the necessary fatwas to cut ties until they do the ruqyah, or to cut ties until they fulfill their due responsibilities and duties.
There's another question. If someone is committing a sin, whether that's via taking drugs or any other things that they may be doing, can that be from sihr?
It depends. If see, when sihr is something that it's constant, consistent, and you're battling within. You know, the person himself is battling inside, and sihr is coming and taking over. And there's trigger points. So these things you have to look at. When does it trigger? Is there a trigger point? And if is the person battling against the drugs and so on. So if he or she is battling against the drugs, battling against this, telling people, asking people for help and seeking assistance, and they go back to it, and when they go back to these triggers, then that is most likely sihr. But if there's no triggers, there's nothing triggering them to go there, do this, do that. There's nothing trigger. There's no trigger, and there's no battle from them. They are not battling. Then that's the human being. That's not the sihr.
If there's any more questions, you can post it live, or you can ask the question live to the Sheikh. And someone else wrote another question, whether the sihr how can the sihr be done, Sheikh? Some individuals, they want to know whether it needs to be done via food or the clothes.
It can be done like any other sihr. Sometimes it doesn't need anything. Just A'udhu Billah, you know, the magicians, they have the names and that's it. They just utter the utterances and do knots and do dolls and so on and so forth and so on. So not necessarily they have to have your items to do sihr. But if they have your items, then obviously the sihr becomes more severe, more deadly.
Yeah.
And usually, obviously, those who do the sihr, they are those who do the sihr, obviously they are usually from your close family members. So they usually have your items.
Okay.
That's why it's very important when you wear clothes, when you enter the room, when you give something, when you receive something, it's very important to say Bismillah. As Imam Nawawi rahimahullah says, everything we say and we do in everyday acts, we should say Bismillah. Okay, of khair. Anything we do of khair. We open the door, Bismillah. We enter the house, Bismillah. We take our clothes off, Bismillah. We wear our clothes, Bismillah. When you do that, someone takes that clothes, they can't do sihr with it. Even if they do sihr with that clothes, it's still going to work because he said Bismillah, took that clothes off. He said Bismillah and he wore that clothes. Especially nowadays, people, when they wear nice clothes, when they wear new clothes, they don't know the dua. So when you see someone wearing new clothes, make the dua. Allahumma albisu jadidan wa aishu hamidan wa amitu shahidan. Make that dua. You also make that dua when you wear new clothes. Allahumma albisni jadidan wa aishni hamidan wa amitni shahidan. Then whoever takes that clothes to do anything, they can't do anything. Even if it's do it, someone will work. Similarly, when you cut your nails or when you brush your hair and you throw that hair away or you wash that nail away down the sink, say Bismillah. Khalas, will be protected. So key to everything over your day-to-day life is Bismillah. You enter into a bus, Bismillah. Get off from the bus, Bismillah. Yeah, you buy something from the shop, Bismillah.
Jazakumullah khair, Shaykh. How can one work on, or how can one try to destroy if those type of sihr of arrogance? And can one intend to destroy the sihr that someone else has, like i.e. their father, through their dreams?
As you said, we said the cure, which is what to recite those verses of arrogance, pride, ignorance, inability to take responsibilities, overpowering of the devils, those du'as, and blowing to the items they consume, they eat, water, oil, cooking oil, rice, and also the items they use on the body, oil, shower gel, shampoos, and so on. Yeah, take them to ruqya, make du'as, give sadaqah on the behalf, slaughter on the behalf with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, feed the poor, and so on.
Okay, and Chef, the next question. You mentioned the trigger points. What does trigger mean? What do you mean by trigger, Chef?
So, for example, when you talk about ruqya, it triggers them, and they become very arrogant and stubborn. They say, "Look, there's no such thing as sihr, there's no such thing as devils, jinns, there's no such thing as possession, there's no such thing as evil eye." It triggers them, and so when you talk about ruqya, or when you talk about the issue, whatever the issue may be, whatever the issue is, it triggers them. So something triggers. So when something triggers, they're normal human being, but when something triggers them, that's when you know that there is sihr there triggering these things. They are triggers by going and then doing what they want to do, or denying what they want to deny, or reject what they want to reject, and so forth. So they are trigger points. So when it comes to drugs, for example, when they go to, for example, an individual person and uh, uh, they go into drugs, or when they go into the room, it triggers them, or when they go to this particular house, it triggers them, or when they go to this particular area, it triggers them, or when they talk about a particular subject, they're away from drugs for 6 months, suddenly someone speaks about a subject, it triggers them. So then you know the sihr was done with these triggers.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice way to put it. Okay, someone asks regarding the ayat and the verses that one can recite. What would you say, Sheikh, for the general masses out there? What should they recite and what should they do?
Obviously, Surah Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, last two verses of Surah Baqarah, and then قُلْ يَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ وَلَا أَحَدٌ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِفَلَقٍ بِالنَّاسِ. Repeat them with the intentions that which you are suffering of. So if you're suffering of sihr tafriq, recite them with the intention of burning away sihr tafriq. If you're suffering from sihr arrogance, recite them to be with the intention of burning away sihr of arrogance. If you're suffering from sihr of not be able to get married, recite them with the intention of burning away the sihr or the hasad or the ayn or the mas with uh, these surahs. So every day when you wake up, recite whatever you know with the intentions. That's all you have to do. But obviously, if you know the specific verses which talk about these issues, then recite those specific verses and then blow into the oils, the waters, and so forth. And also blow into your hands like this and wipe your body at least 3 times. But if you want to continue, recite, blow, then wipe, recite, blow, and wipe as long as you can do with the intention of burning with the symptoms, whatever the symptoms you feel, and the sources and causes of whatever you are going through every single day.
Anything else, Sheikh, you would like to add?
Now, as we said, continue your treatments every day when you wake up, renew your intentions. So, for example, today you're feeling sad, renew the intention. Oh Allah, burn away the symptom of sadness and the sources and causes of sadness. Renew that intention and then go and do the treatments. Whatever the treatments you do every day, also the oils, the spraying of the houses, the recitation of the Quran, playing the Quran, just renew that intention, inshallah, and continue with the treatments. And note that down. Today, Sunday, I felt sad when I woke up. Next Sunday, see if you feel sadness. If you still feel sadness next Sunday, then that means you know that Sunday someone did sihr on you to be sad. So now then, every Sunday that comes, just make the intention that, oh Allah, burn away the sadness that I feel and the causes and the sources of sihr, wherever they may be, Allah burn them through my ruqyah treatments. Okay. Another advice I will give is because summer now is for you to go to the seaside, your local seas, and always dress appropriately, and then dip into the sea with the intentions of burning away the sources of hasad, the sources of ayn, the sources of mas, the sources of sihr, with the intention, inshallah, dip in. Try to dip in around an hour and a half. An hour and a half, stay in there, keep dipping in it. Every time you dip in, make the intention and then dip. And intend to burn away all the hasad, ayn, mas, sihr that people have done on you since, maybe before you were even born. It was done on your parents, your grandparents. Just intend, inshallah. And this intention will, inshallah, with the water, which is pure water, sea salt also, and with your intentions and du'as, tawakkul, and you recite also. Recite when you're doing that. Recite and blow into the water around you, and then dip. Yeah, this is one of the quickest way to cure long-term sihr, long-term hasad, long-term ayn. Why? Because number one, water is pure. Number two, all the DNA of people, it goes to the sea because they wash and they clean themselves. They have a ghusl, so the water eventually goes to the sea. So the DNA is there. So the negative DNA is there. Your positive DNA, all it does, it touches their negative and it burns them away. That's it. Khalas, and you're cured.
Yeah, Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh, for your time, inshallah. You kindly end it, Sheikh.
Barakallahu feekum. Qaballahu minna wa minkum salih amal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure all the Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite all the Muslims. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remove from the Muslims all the oppression. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite the hearts of the families. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring back the families together. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala burn all the hasad, all the ayn, all the mas, all the sihr that has been done on the families. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala burn the sihr wherever they may be in the grave, be in the trees, be in the ponds, be in the rivers, be in the sea. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala burn away all the hasad of the hasideen, all the ayn of the ayns, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala burn away all the devils who are possessing our brothers and sisters wherever they are. Allahumma ameen. And also may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring back the rights of individuals, whomever has taken those rights away through sihr, through ayn, through hasad, through mas, and through oppression. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Those who are not married, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the tawfiq to get married and remove the obstacles and the barriers of sihr, hasad, mas, and ayn. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give those who are married who do not have children, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them children and offsprings who are mubarak. Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen, Allahumma ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.